You might be going through a breakup right now and you feel like the rug has just been pulled from under your feet. Like you're struggling to come to terms with the situation. You don't know really what to make of it. Maybe it's still raw, it's still fresh, it only recently happened. And you're struggling to figure out which way is up, right? It doesn't matter if you were the one who did it or the other person did it. The reality is, breakups are tough. Breakups are very challenging, and there is no escaping the pain. There is no way to sugarcoat it. It's tough. And I get it. I get how tough it is. But what I want to do is I want to share with you a concept that will help you get through your breakup in one piece. Now, before we go forward, I would really appreciate if you take a moment to like and subscribe. But let's get back into it. So the concept I want to share with you today is something I like to call license to despair. License to despair. So what exactly is license to despair? It basically means giving yourself room to be in pain, giving yourself room to grieve, giving yourself room to be upset. Okay? Here's the reality. What you've just experienced is life-changing. You have just sustained a major, major emotional injury. And with any injury, you have to tend to it in the right way in order for it to heal. So imagine you hurt your ankle, right? You would probably need to get a cast or one of those fracture boots, right? In order for it to heal in the right way. Or if you fractured your hand, you would probably need to get a splint, right? For it to heal in the right way. If you tried to walk on your ankle, even though it's injured, you would make it worse, right? If you had a fractured hand and you went to the gym and you're trying to bench press, you would make it worse. It's the same thing with your broken heart, right? You need to give yourself room to heal. That's how you tend to it in the initial phase, right? When it's just happened, the thing you do is give yourself license to despair, okay? Here's what a lot of people do. Oftentimes, when people are dealing with the breakup, rather than face the pain, because it's so visceral, rather than face it, they try to suppress it, right? They try to be out and about, going to parties, clubs, bars, you name it, right? They're everywhere. But here's the problem. You can go out to the club, party, bar, but eventually you're going to come home and those feelings aren't going to go anywhere. Yes, there is the time to venture out again, but I'm talking about that initial period where it's just happened, where it's still so fresh. You need to tend to your broken heart by giving yourself room to be in pain. You need to acknowledge what has just happened. You need to acknowledge the fact that you are indeed in pain, right? You need to acknowledge this because that's the only way you're going to heal. So you want to give yourself space to reminisce. Give yourself space to mourn the loss because this is a loss. Give yourself room to be down in the dumps because that will allow you to heal. That would allow you to process it. Okay? You want to give yourself that room to cry, scream, whatever it is that you need to do. But you need to acknowledge I'm in pain and then let the pain manifest itself. That's the only way you're going to get through it and resolve it in the right way. If you suppress it, you might end up with, not that you might, you will end up with unresolved feelings, right? And that will make it difficult for you to move forward, right? It might make you cynical, or you might have pent up resentment, anger, bitterness, and it might make you cold, not very trusting, not very open, a little cynical, reserved. And here's the thing, when you get to a place where you're ready to connect with another person, if you're cynical, cold, not very open, avoidant, it's going to be very hard for you to connect with another person because in order to connect with another person, there needs to be mutual openness. Now, if you don't give yourself license to despair, you run the risk of holding on to these unresolved feelings, and that's only going to hurt you long term. You need to acknowledge the pain, right? Acknowledge and accept that something severe has just happened. And it's okay to not be okay. If it was a relationship that you invested a lot of time and a lot of effort in, how could you not be upset right now? That doesn't make you weak or less than. And don't let anybody make you feel that way. It's okay to not be okay. It's just happened. You're not going to stay in this state forever. I'm not suggesting that. But what I'm saying is, in this initial phase, give yourself that room to experience the pain. Like I said, cry, reminisce, scream, whatever you need to do. But you need to give yourself that license to despair so that you can process your emotions, so you can move forward without baggage. And when you're able to do this, you will feel lighter. Once you have that kind of emotional closure with yourself, you will feel a lot lighter. And at that point, you can take off the cast, you can take off the splint, and you can engage with the world, from a place of, security in yourself, right? So License to Despair is your first bus stop. If you've enjoyed this video, I recommend checking out the videos on screen. So the first one is basically going to give you some more steps that you need to go through in order to heal from your breakup. So we've discussed License to Despair, and this is a critical step. But that video is going to show you more things that you need to do in order to get yourself to the other side. Now, at some point, you're going to be ready to put yourself out there again, right? To get back out there. So the second video is going to give you a step-by-step guide on how to find love again. I hope you've enjoyed this video. See you next time.